Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2014. We're going to take a look today, since it's Wednesday, we're going to look at the markets today, so the trading from the last couple of days, yesterday and today. And then we're going to look at our indicators like we always do, and then we're going to look at Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, see how they're shaping up. And then we're going to just do an update on the trade ideas. And then I'll give you another update on upcoming videos. Okay, so the Dow was up 91 points today. So we're getting our bounce, so we got to close above the 10-day exponential moving average. So what I'm looking for, and again, there's no guarantees, if we get another close above the 10 in here, doesn't necessarily have to be higher close than today, although that is a much more bullish close if it closes higher. But we'll have to see. We could be getting ready to have a pullback here. Now, let's just take a look to see, what are we looking at from a retracement standpoint of this down move that's occurred. 50% is going to be about another 100 points up. 61.8% is going to be another 200 points up. So we could go another 200 points and we're still just retracing 61.8% of the down move. So we have to keep that in perspective. And of course you're watching the waves, the breadth of the move, what's happening. But that's just a couple thoughts. Let's look at the indicators here. We're not above 50 yet, although it made a nice move today. We still have DI minus above DI plus, and the demand index is below zero. So nothing positive on those indicators. The S&P 500, again, closing above the 10-day. This does not have the 21 below the 55 yet. Indicators slightly a little more positive here, but still got the DI minus above DI plus up here. And again, I've told you this before, my favorite indicator is the RSI. I really like it. And so right now it's telling us that it's trying to push above, into the positive territory, along with this move that we're seeing right here above the 10. So, over here, for example, it did move above 10, then we sold back off, then it tried it again, and then it went. Okay, here, two closes above the 10 and started to make a move, a little bit of a retracement, got choppy. We were choppy in here. Back here in end of January, beginning of February, it got a couple closes and then it ran for several weeks until we started chopping sideways. So we'll have to watch and see what we get tomorrow. The NASDAQ, stronger. Okay, so again, we've talked about the 21s above the 55. We've now got 3 closes above the 10 in here, and this is a nice higher close. The NASDAQ is acting strong, just like I talked about on Monday night. It could be, making a 5th move up here. It's greater than 50 on RSI. The directional movement, DI minus, DI plus, is not aligned yet. The demand index is back positive. So the NASDAQ is definitely the stronger, and of course there's a lot of really strong, powerful NASDAQ stocks. Apple's one of those, and we'll talk about that. We got into the new trade idea today. Short-term trading index is just hanging right in the middle, not doing a doggone thing. The volatility index collapsed here today, down 1.23. The RSI is in dive mode. You're getting the DI minus crossing above DI plus. So right now, this is just reaffirming that, the market's wanting to go higher. Demand index isn't telling us anything different. The high-low index is trying to push back up to the upside. Not a dramatic move here. We've only got 58 more new highs than new lows on a 90-plus point move in the Dow. So, of course, the Dow has sold off some. All right, so that's the indicators. That's the snapshot for the last couple of days. Let's go ahead and walk through our BRIC countries. Brazil has been going sideways here. Had that nice move, pulled back, going sideways. Still got the 21 above the 55, above the 233, although we do now have this 10 crossing below the 21 again. This may be trying to turn down. because you get this close below the 10. You know, I know it's done it before. It just, you know, it's struggling in here. Okay. So we'll have to watch on Brazil. Russia's in a bounce back mode. We've had 4 days, I guess a slightly up day, but 4 days in an up move here, bounce. I think that was all, I mean, I don't know, the market definitely got oversold, but, you know, and this is just it's a bear market type bounce, but we'll see whether it's got anything more than that. And the RSI is above 50. But the demand index, the directional movement index is not cooperating. So we'll see. Again, that's just, you know, it revolves around what's happening with Ukraine, you know, Putin with the convoy coming into Ukraine with supplies and sanctions and, you know, all of that. The next one is India. And where is it? That's right on it. Knew that's where I wanted to go. Okay, so India has been up the last 3 days, but it's kind of meandering sideways in here. I'm not sure what we're getting. I'm looking for this fifth bracketed little wave, like what I call a minute wave. Okay, I'm looking for this fifth wave, but I'm having a hard time understanding what this thing's actually doing up in here. But it's continuing to try to push higher. That's the good news on it. And then sure, Shanghai for China. You know, it sells off and it comes back in a vengeance. I mean, look at this move here today. I mean, sells off, comes back up. Now it's a doji. That's, what do they call that doji? Long-legged doji man, I guess. Something like that. Anyway, I mean, we got 2 back-to-back dojis. I can't honestly remember. You know, I stopped trying to figure out these daily little candlestick formations because I just don't trust day-to-day little moves like this. Sometimes you get these very, you know, ones that are more trustworthy than others, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what a long-legged doji means, other than if we get a dark down bar, could mean that, you know, that's the peak of a short-term move. I'm not sure. Again, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pull back to the trend line that it broke out of. I mean, it's made a pretty heck of a strong move here. I mean, we could be doing some kind of ABC in here. Not really sure. And, you know, I've still got this projected target for the line on China. You know, it's come out of this, you know, it was down in this, what I call a danger zone. It had the ability to collapse. And to me, when you have the ability doing this like this in this compressed symmetrical triangle, and it could have easily collapsed down and went to new lows, all-time lows, and it didn't. To me, that's strong bullish, you know, signs of the way it's wanting to act. Okay, so and then the last one is South Africa. And South Africa's it's slightly up over the last week. We did a little bit of a down move, pulled back over the last couple of days. So basically kind of going sideways, kind of a little bit of corrective action in here, but not nearly any kind of sell-off like Germany or anything. So, I mean, South Africa is still looking pretty strong in terms of the bullishness. Okay, those are the BRIC countries. So that's kind of our walk around the world, a little bit of a snapshot. It's kind of interesting. I mean, you know, we're still calling these these BRIC countries, but China's the #2 economy in the world. So, and definitely we're talking about, I mean, the 2 biggest population countries in the world, India and China, and then you're talking about Russia. As a major power and in the world in terms of what they're doing. So, you know, the BRIC countries, as in Brazil's the major player in South America, it appears. So, you know, really does touch on a lot of areas around the world, and of course South Africa in Africa. South Africa being a strong economy down there. All right, let's talk about quickly. We're going to take a look at, if I make sure I don't miss any of these. Going to look just a quick summary of what's going on with our trade ideas, just to keep everybody in the loop and keep everybody up to speed. We're going to look at Green Mountain. We're still tracking. I'm not going to spend any time on this. I'm still playing this to downside. And this looks like a consolidation type sideways move. I'm still expecting this to drop. And that's, so far, it's not telling me that it doesn't want to. And so we're going to continue to play that. And then U.S. Steel. Oh my gosh, U.S. Steel is just, I know I covered this on Sunday, so I'll be brief. Nice move again here today on U.S. Steel, up 43 cents. Just continues to push. This RSI is just amazing. I haven't seen anything like this in a long, long time, where it's up here around 90%. And it's just, this is why when you get, and I know I beat a dead horse here, but when you get overbought like this, just because you're overbought does not mean you go short, okay? It does not mean you go short just because you're above 70 on the RSI, or go long just because you're under 30 on the RSI, just as a rule. Because look how this is so strongly bullish. And I am actually, here's what I'm looking for, because I think we've got a bigger wave in here. See this huge gap? And the gap occurred on just huge volume, okay? So what I'm actually wondering actually what's up with U.S. Steel. Is there something else in the works, something going on? I'm looking for another gap. And because this just looks like it's in a runaway situation, like this is a huge breakout or runaway type gap, and a lot of times you'll get a second one over here, and then you can kind of do a measurement of the distance between the two runaway gaps. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another gap to the upside. I don't know what would cause it, but we'll see. Okay, that's U.S. Steel. Whole Foods. Okay, Whole Foods pulling back today. Kind of disappointing. I've got a stop set on this thing, and I'm using a close below the previous 2-day low. So I mean, we get and today is the lowest low of the last 2 days. So we get a close below today, and I'll be out. And you know, if that's the case, then Whole Foods was not ready for prime time. Okay, and the next one is SoFun Holdings. It's still acting nice. Had a little pullback today, but you know, that's not a big deal. But I'm also using the same type of stop in here, close below the last 2 days lows. And you never know, you may get stopped out and it turns around, but you got to have some kind of a stop. And there's a lot of different ways to play stops. So right now, I'm still waiting for this thing to break out and go higher, play this little head and shoulders and the wave count, the way this whole thing was laid out. And I'll go ahead and spend a little, you know, I've got this counted as A, B, C, okay? And then we did this A, B, C, X, okay, connecting type wave. Then we got this zigzag again for a wave. And so what we did was we literally had like two corrective waves connected in what they call a combination complex corrective wave. Now it looks like we're breaking it because we're breaking this trend line, and that's why I'm looking and thinking that we're in some type of wave, first impulsive wave up, and trying to make sense out of that. Okay, so that's where we're at with SoFun. And I was going to do an update, trying to update. So I've done a lot of these individual videos over the last few weeks. And so now I'm trying to bunch them together to do an update. I was going to do an update on SoFun, Candy, Baidu, and SINA tomorrow. But because I'm talking about SoFun and SINA tonight, I'm only going to do Candy and Baidu tomorrow. And then I've got a separate video where I'm going to do on Yoku, because that's the last one I wanted to do as an individual, at least for now. And then I'll have all of the Chinese stocks that I'm following and from a video standpoint in there and up to date, or you know, at least posted. So look for Yoku, look for an individual video on Yoku either tonight or tomorrow, and then another update video on Candy and Baidu tomorrow. Okay, so now SoFun, let's go. I think that's it for the ones we were in. And then today, don't want to go there. Let's go here. Let's take a look at Apple. So we had a trade idea out Monday night. We're looking to get in. Yesterday did not get the fill, or you know, our entry point. So we did today. So we're in now with calls, and so we'll be watching this. I think we're in a final fifth wave of this, this bracketed sub-minuet, or whatever you want to call the wave, but it's my bracketed wave 5, and I think we're going to be up in here. So just a nice little play. That's what I'm looking for on Apple. And SINA, we got in also. SINA, little more doubtful on, but I went with it. We got a higher close. This barely closed above the 10. It actually was almost right on the 10. This was above the 10, so it didn't close below the 10. I held with my same trade idea. We got to close above the 10 here again, a higher close than yesterday. So I went with it, but I'm a little nervous about it. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to give it a whole lot of room to play. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, so this is the bigger picture of SINA, and okay, we had talked about this. Again, this was another complex corrective wave move, and this was 2. I think we've gotten 2 here, and that's why I think we're trying. And a lot of times when you're trying to get that first wave going down here, it's a little messy and it's choppy. So we'll see if that's what's happening, or whether this is a sideways and we got another move to the downside. Right now, I'm playing the fact that 21's above the 55. We're getting closes above the 10. It's kind of in a sideways symmetrical. Looking to see if this will carry it and go. All right, that's the assessment on SINA. And then last but not least is Raxspace. Okay, this is something different. Normally I like to go with the trend, short-term trend, but this was intriguing to me. This is a counter trend play, okay? Because I think we've come all the way down here. I'll zoom back in. And I think we've done our correction. And now I think we're trying to turn up, and I think we got a head and shoulders in the process down here. So let me zoom back down in here, okay? And this was a big downtrend we got going on. This is a neckline of a head and shoulders. Here's what I think is the first move. We'll see. Now, I thought we were done here. Then we got this final move here. Okay. Now, this looks like what Linda Raschke calls, and she called this in her book in the 1995, 1996 book, Short-Term Trading. I can't remember the exact name of it. But turtle soup plus 1. Okay. So the turtles and turtle soups like to play breakouts of 20-day highs, lows. Well, this was a 20-day low, okay, and it was over 4 days from this move. Okay, it needs to be at least 4 days away, 4 bars away, and we got to close down below it. And then the very next day, we now get a close back above that low point here, this trigger line, this low point. So right now, I'm looking for this to go, because this didn't continue down, and I'm looking for it to go and see if we can't get a pretty nice little pop move. A lot of times it'll just jettison. It'll just take off like a rocket. So we'll see if that happens or not. I'm not going to give it any room. The stop's going to be right below this point down here, and we'll see. So that's the play on Raxspace. I don't do very many of those, but every once in a while, when it kind of meshes with my overall scenario, then I'm like, okay, it's almost too hard to resist. So we'll play it and see what happens. All right, this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart, and that's it for tonight. Again, look for those videos from me tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you. And I'm going to have another updated video, I think, of some videos on Friday, just kind of an update of 3 or 4 stocks. And then we'll be back with you on a market update this weekend on Saturday. All right, again, if you felt like the video was helpful, please share it on social media. And if you're not a subscriber, hit the little red box here, subscribe, or subscribe on the website. And if you're watching this anywhere else but my website, head on over to the website and you could check out, which reminds me, I want to show you, where am I putting these videos on the website? Okay, when you look at the menu, they're underneath this heading right here, Stock Chart Technical Analysis. That's where I have all these videos stacked up. Now I've got to come up with a better way of having all of these listed out here. But these are everything I started doing when I started doing these individual stock updates. So that's where they're located, right here under this heading. Okay. All right, that's it for tonight. Again, we'll see you Saturday. Have a great Thursday, Friday, everyone.